Hello, thank you for watching Megan Tennell Yoga. I'm Megan Tennell, and it is known, or commonly said, that you should practice yoga every day. And I believe it's more well known that we teachers are not the best at committing to our daily practice. Sometimes, just like you, maybe not wanting to go to work for the day, sometimes I don't feel like teaching, and I also sometimes don't want to practice. So today is one of those days, and for you, naturally, that means this will be one of those classes. Prepare to melt into the postures and spend a lot of time on the ground. Grab a hold of a blanket to support your postures, like if you've got sensitive knees or if the floor isn't really for you, that'll really help you be a little bit more comfortable. So go ahead and grab that blanket from your bed or your sofa and come meet me on your mat. Sit nice and tall in the center of your mat. And lengthen the crown of your head up to the sky. Let the chin lower down ever so slightly to lengthen the back of the neck. And draw your attention to your breath. Imagine your torso as 3 separate layers of a cake. Bottom, middle, and top. As you inhale, fill the whole bottom layer, mid layer, and top layer. Exhale from the top down. Soften your neck and jaw, and allow your tongue to rest gently behind your teeth as you allow your attention to remain on the breath, filling from bottom to top, and exhaling from the top down. Join me for one more big inhale. And open mouth sigh. Come all the way down onto your belly. Gently move your props aside, push the blanket a little bit out of the way, and come lying all the way down onto your mat. Let the feet be flat, let the toes turn however they wish. Stack your palms like pancakes in front of your face and gently lower your forehead onto the top hand. Notice where there may be any tension within the body. Take a deep breath in and allow it to soften and release from the body. Continue to follow your breath. Feel it filling the pelvis, the navel, and the upper chest. Exhale from the top down. Maybe the breath is more noticeable in the side body and the spine since the belly is being pressed into the floor. the shoulders, maybe in the top of the hips. Gently bend your left knee out to the left side of your mat, bringing the knee parallel-ish to the hip. Flex the foot as if it's pressed up against a wall, and maybe shift your heel outward ever so slightly. Allow it to be around 90 degrees or a little further. Continue to follow the breath and notice the space between the left hip and the floor. Taking another big inhale, and as you exhale, maybe press the knee a little further from your center, noticing how that allows the hip to come closer to the floor. Pressing the hip into the floor is not the goal. We want to try to create length through the body by maybe encouraging the knee to move a little further. On your next inhale, gently straighten your left leg and maybe toe knee. Teeter-totter your foot back to the mat and rest it on the earth with the toes pointed, laying flat for one whole breath. Switch sides. Allow the right knee to gently press upwards towards the right hip, going straight out from the hip socket. Flex the right foot and gently press your heel away from your center, coming to about 90 degrees or a little further away. Notice the softness throughout the upper body. Notice the space between the right hip and the earth. Take a deep breath in. And softening sigh, letting go of any little bit of energy you may be holding within the body. It is much easier to release tension that we feel physically throughout the body than it is to release tension from your mind. Take the time to just focus on the breath and the body for these 50 minutes. And maybe you'll be able to let go of something mentally as well. One more deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently press the right knee a little further from the body, maybe broadening the hips. On your next inhale, gently teeter-totter your foot back to your mat, both legs straight, toes pointed. As you inhale, keep the shoulders heavy, but squeeze the quads. Notice how this decreases the amount of your legs touching the floor. Exhale, soften. Feel that surface area increase as you melt. Inhale, squeeze the glutes and the quads, but keep the upper body heavy and soft. Exhale, soften everything. 2 more with the breath. Inhale, squeeze the bottom half of the body. Exhale, soften. This time I invite you to squeeze the quads and maybe lift the toes a couple inches from the earth, but keep the upper body inactive. Exhale, soften everything. Gently lift the forehead and swivel your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, baby cobra onto the bottom ribs, squeezing the legs as you've done before, maybe lifting the toes. Exhale, release. Again, inhale, cobra with active legs. Pull the heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, release. Keep the feet flat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press up and back into child's pose with the knees wide, toes together, and gently press your sit bones back into the feet. It's okay if your sit bones do not reach the heels. Your blanket or block is also available to you to roll up and place in between the heels to support the sit bones. Maybe rest your forehead on the floor if it is available to you, and follow the breath in the outer ribs. On your next exhale, gently walk both hands over toward the left side of your mat, maybe placing your right hand on the left edge, allowing the left hand to rainbow off of your mat ever so slightly. This is not about bending, this is about lengthening. Feel that distance from the top of the right hip into the armpit. Pressing your left ribs inside the thigh. Keep the body level, dropping your right shoulder down toward the earth. Do not allow it to lift. Think back to when we were lying on the ground, and when we had the knee bent, the hip was also raising off of the earth. Encourage that lengthening through the right hand to create a downward energy with the right shoulder. Take a deep breath from hip to armpit. And open mouth, sigh. Inhale, walk your hands through center. And exhale, rainbow to the right. Pressing the right ribs into the thigh, left hand rainbowing up and over, dropping the left shoulder. This is not a twist, this is an arch. Follow your breath through the left ribs and soften the body into the earth. Inhale, return to center, and pause on the exhale. Inhale, pull your heart forward between your elbows, tuck in your toes, and push up and back into downward dog. I invite you to tick-tock your hips from side to side. Lift and lower, alternating heels. Bend the knees. Turn the thumbs slightly forward and let the head be heavy. Shake it no. Inhale, look between your hands with your head and your heart. And exhale, lower your knees down to the floor, coming into tabletop. Return the middle fingers pointing towards the top of your mat. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and knees underneath the hips. Inhale, pull the heart forward, shoulders back and down as you tilt the tailbone. Exhale, tuck and round the spine, pressing the shoulders high to the sky. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, tuck. Two more with the breath. This time as you inhale, pull the heart forward and lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, round the spine, bending your knee in towards your chest and stepping your foot between the hands. This method of lengthening the body coming into a low lunge often does not give us the distance we're accustomed to, so I do invite you to teeter-totter your foot further forward to find your degree of lengthening through the thighs. Allow the body to become heavy. Notice how releasing the tension in the upper body increases the amount of sensation you experience in the back leg. Lengthen the back of the neck as you tuck your chin toward your chest and gaze just past the front toes. Inhale, push back into a half split, pointing through the front toes. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. One more with the breath. Slow and steady. Be mindful of the sensation you are experiencing within the body. Exhale, stack your knee on top of the ankle. Press your left hand parallel to the front big toe and inhale, reach the right arm high and continue to push through the left shoulder, maybe shifting the shoulders back a little bit. Exhale, bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot and teeter-totter the right foot out and around until you can swivel it around and back to meet the left knee, returning to tabletop pose. Inhale, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, tuck and round. Two more. And really take note of when you round the spine upward. Try to create as much space as possible. Imagine you are trying to bring that thigh into that area. Exhale, tuck and round. Once more, pulling the heart forward, bringing the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to chest. Round the spine, create space. Maybe come onto the fingertips to allow space to put the foot between the hands and lunge forward. Be mindful of the knee and ankle alignment. We want to keep the knee stacked on top of the ankle or just behind it. Allow softness to come through the body. Let the hips become heavy. Maybe allow the body to rest on the thigh to take some of the tension out of the hands. If your hands get tired, come out of the posture and find child's pose. Do not create fists and apply pressure into the knuckles. What that does is it actually creates more compression within the wrist instead of sending the weight of your body out and away. Inhale, push back, half split with the toes pointed. Exhale, lunge forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Once more. Exhale, stack the knee on top of the ankle and press the right hand level with the big toe. Inhale, left arm high, pushing through the right arm as you reach for the sky. Exhale, bring the left hand to the inside of the foot so that way it has the freedom to teeter-totter around until you can feel within your body the moment it can swivel around and back. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, find a neutral spine. Tuck in the toes. And exhale, push up and back into downward dog. Allow the body to settle into this posture. Downward dog is intended to be a resting pose, but if the body cannot find a neutral spine naturally, it can feel difficult, and that is okay. Child's pose is always available to you if you need it. Inhale, look between your hands with your head and your heart. Exhale, bend the knees, lowering them down to the earth once again. Walk your hands further out in front of you, coming into a kneeling plank, feet flat. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra, heart forward, shoulders back, optional activated legs. Exhale, release. Once more. Inhale, cobra, heart forward. Exhale, release. Straighten your left arm, reaching the wrist right across the shoulder in a nice straight line. Gently rest your forehead onto your mat and use your right arm to begin to roll over onto your left side, rolling back towards the straight arm. Maybe bend your right knee in towards your chest, using the inner thigh and the calf as a support, much like a kickstand, to prevent your belly from reaching the floor and coming out of this stretch. Be very mindful of your shoulder. It can be very easy for it to try to bind up into the ear. Try to walk your hand a little bit further away from your body, much like when we were bending the knee and trying to press the knee away from the hip to create less space between the hip and the floor. Try to create less space now between the shoulder and the floor. If you would like to go deeper, push into the right hand a little further, rocking the right shoulder back towards the left side of the mat, and lift the right knee off of the floor and teeter-totter your right foot so the heel is parallel-ish to your pelvis, having the knee up towards the sky and pushing down into the right foot will allow more push-back rotation in the hip, therefore putting more weight into the left shoulder. If you would like to go deeper still, Put weight back into the right hand for support. Bring the right foot from in front of the body and place it behind the body with the knee bent and the sole of the foot pressed into the floor. This opens the hips even more, and be mindful of what's happening with the shoulder. This is what it's about right now. It's not about how deep you can twist. You can always return to the previous position, and again, rest in child's pose is always available to you. Numbness is completely normal, but any pinching or shooting sensation through the arm into the jaw, I do recommend you return to child's pose or unwind ever so slightly. Take in one more deep breath here and sigh. On your next inhale, very slowly and using your right arm to control how fast the body moves, gently roll back onto your belly. Press your forehead into the earth. Feel how far your left shoulder has elevated off of the earth. And pause here for a breath, feeling that heartbeat and the blood flow back into the fingertips. Gently return the left hand underneath the shoulder. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, cobra once again. And release. Press your forehead into the floor and extend the right wrist right out past the shoulder. Press the front of the right shoulder into the earth. Maybe walk the fingers a little further. Press into the left hand to create the rotation towards the right side of the mat. Bend the right knee toward your chest. Allow it to support the weight to prevent you from coming back down onto your belly. This side will feel different. It may want to go deeper, or it may just need a little extra softness. If you would like to go deeper, lift the left knee off of the floor, teeter-tottering your foot a little higher toward the pelvis. This will allow a little bit more opening through the hip, but also apply more pressure into the right shoulder. If you would like to go deeper still, use that left hand to support you and bring your foot from the front to behind your body. Again, this is not about the rotation. This is about the length that is being created through the front of your shoulder. It's very rare that we trigger this type of deep sensation through the front body. So be super mindful of what your shoulder needs. One more deep breath in and let it go. And gently return to center, using your left hand to prevent you from just flopping back onto the floor. Notice the space created between the shoulder and the earth. Take a deep breath in. underneath the shoulder, and inhale, cobra, drawing the shoulders down and back, trying to mimic that broadness. Exhale, release. Inhale, cobra, and release. Keep the feet flat, and exhale, push back into tabletop. Widen the knees to the outer edges of your mat. Try to get the knee and the big toe level with each other, using the edge of the mat as a guide. Try to stack your hips directly above the knees. It's very often that they try to come forward or push backward. And it is also even harder to tell what that looks like for you at home without an instructor actually telling you. So just kind of get a little weird and funky with it. Try to find it. And then come down onto your forearms with the elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Try to avoid dropping the belly and tipping the tailbone up to the sky. This isn't that kind of class. So draw the belly up and in, flattening the tailbone. This is an engaged posture. Everything is working. The mat is helping us, keeping the knees in place. But if you would like a little bit more of a challenge, gently press the knees off of the mat. And if you are on a hardwood floor, you will notice that it will really allow you to surrender to gravity as the legs widen. To protect your hamstrings from you going too far, a gentle little engagement in the low belly and pressing the knees down into the earth will help prevent you from going too flat. Avoid dropping the chest into the shoulders. Press the elbows and the palms deep into the floor. Tuck your chin toward your chest and allow your gaze to be just about between the wrists and the thumbs. If you would like to go a little deeper, I invite you to push into the hands, maybe shifting your hips back ever so slightly. If you are someone who prefers to be moving all the time, I do invite you to find a breath pattern, maybe moving forward and backward. Or maybe allow yourself to surrender to gravity and then squeeze the inner thighs and sliding upwards and inwards to really exercise the inner thighs. Just because it is a gentle yoga class doesn't mean it's easy. It just means you are given more opportunities to be really mindful, careful, and gentle with the body. Again, we may have forgotten by now to continue drawing the belly up and in. Press the shoulders away from the floor, gazing between the wrists. Very gently bring your hands and elbows closer to the body for more support. The elbows are now just behind the shoulders. This will give you a little bit more mobility to shift the shoulders forward, and then you can teeter-totter, foot and knee, back onto the mat, and press back into child's pose. Take a deep breath in, and let it go. Inhale, pull the heart between the elbows, tuck in the toes, and push up and back into downward dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, bend the knee and bring the heel over toward the left side of the body, opening your hips to the right and gaze through the right armpit. Exhale, come forward into plank, tucking your knee into the right elbow and swivel your ankle over to the left side. Lower the shin bone to the earth, followed by the back knee, flattening the toes. Your blanket is available to you to make this posture more accessible, and even more so allowing it to be as passive as possible. The main goal of pigeon pose is to create length through the extended leg and hip. Oftentimes, excuse me, the hip is open here, but by bearing down towards the earth, closing the space between the left hip and the earth, will also create more sensation through the right side of the body. And it is okay that the right hip lifts, but because it is in front of us and it is bent, it has more weight and more desire to come to the earth. So you can bring your blanket around behind the right hip to create a gentle little shelf to prevent you from rolling over and back onto it. It doesn't matter how far out or in your right heel goes. Allow it to bend naturally. This is about lengthening the legs. It's about squaring the hips with the front of the mat right now. And I do invite you to come down onto your forearms. Again, from here, allow the shoulders and the elbows to be stacked. Keep the palms rooted into the earth and avoid caving into the shoulders. Press the heart away from the floor. But if it is available to you, I encourage you to lengthen the body all the way down to the floor. If you would like to get a little funky with this posture, bend the right elbow to make a connection with the right knee, shortening the length of the right side, and then reach nice and far through the left hand. Notice how that drops the ribs, it heavies the hips, and creates more length through the left side of the body. It will lift the right hip higher, but the weight of your body will be coming so far left, you're not at risk of it dropping back down. And follow your breath. It can be very difficult to remain still in a posture, especially when we have so much going on around us at home. I hear all the time that an at-home practice just does not work. The fact is, it does work, but you have to be the one to make it so. I get distractions too. My mind wanders off. Sometimes I think of what I need to do after class, my grocery list, did my dog get its medicine? But you can always say thank you for the thought and then return to your practice. A distraction does not mean it ends the practice. Allow yourself to continue to return to what it is you are doing right now. Take in one more big inhale and let it go. Very slowly and gently return your shoulders back above the hips. Feel the body's reaction to the movement. If you have a prop underneath your body, gently remove it, set it aside. Tuck in the back toes, lifting the back knee off the floor, shifting your weight into your hands, and gently step back into tabletop pose. Tick-tock your hips from side to side. Invite some movement in the body. I also invite you to maybe shift the shoulders, tucking left shoulder to left hip, and then right to right. But whatever hip is pressing outward, really go deep into it and use the femoral head. In case you don't know, this is the femur bone, and up here is the head inside the hip. Push it really out and far, as if that is what is trying to lengthen the body and apply tension on all the connective tissue here. One more on each side. Maybe even go so far as to almost touch your hips to the earth. There is no right or wrong way for your body to move here, but do make sure you are allowing the hands to move to accommodate the shoulders and protect your joints. Returning to center, tuck in the toes and press your hips up and back. Keep that same movement going. Tick-tock the hips from side to side, really pressing the hip joint out and away, and notice how that affects the calves now that the knees are no longer bent. Inhale, float the left leg up and back, bend the knee, opening the body to the left side of the room, gazing through the left armpit. On the next exhale, come forward into plank, knee into the elbow. Swivel the ankle over to the right, lowering the shin bone down to the earth. Back knee down, flattening the toes. Take a breath or two to allow the body to react to the posture on this side. And your blanket or prop is available to you to place underneath the left hip for some support, preventing you from rolling open. And when you are ready, gently lower the forearms down to the earth. This is more of an active posture before completely surrendering all the way down to the ground. So it is up to you if you wish to be active or you wish to be passive. And neither of those words is a good or bad thing. It just is. And if you would like to go deeper, allowing the body to relax, reach both arms straight out across the floor, or get a little funky with it, bending the elbow into the left kneecap, and sliding the right arm out and away, feeling that fully lengthen the right side of the body, trying to close the space between the right side and the earth. And pick a sensation you are experiencing within your body. Even though you are not moving, there is so much for you to be paying attention to right now within your own body. Again, if another thought or a distraction presents itself to you right now in your practice, say thank you. If it's not a life-threatening emergency, it can wait the extra 10 minutes. One more deep inhale. And softening sigh. Very gently press your hands into the earth, allowing the shoulders to lift above the hips. Feel that space moving throughout the body. Feel the blood flow back into the toes. Tuck in your right foot. Lift the hips, weight into the hands, and step back to your hands and knees. Swivel your feet to one side and sit down on your mat. Bring your legs back around in front of you. Straighten your legs, turning the toes up to the sky. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward with the palms turned up to the sky. Round the shoulders, tuck your jaw in towards your chest. Let this full, rounded half upper body melt towards the floor. You want to encourage activity through the legs. This does not mean that you have to press or hyperextend the knees into the floor, but do squeeze the thighs, press through the heels. Even if you have a micro bend in the knees, if there's too much tension, you can still feel this energy moving through the body outwards and forwards. On your next inhale, gently roll up, allowing your head to be the last to rise. And place your hands behind your sit bones. Bend your knees in towards your chest and scoot the tailbone to the center of the mat. Keeping the knees bent, gently lay down onto the floor. Maybe have your blanket nearby still as a prop, placing it on your left side, just below the hip. Reach your arms out to your sides like the letter T. Straighten your left leg with the toes pointed straight up to the sky and float the right leg up into a tabletop position. Exhale, roll over towards the left side, leading with the heaviness of the shin bone. Maybe press your prop underneath the shin bone to prevent you from going too far. This is about the upper body. Invite the heart to open towards the sky. Notice whatever space may be between the right shoulder and the earth, and extend through the right hand to try to close that space. If the right shoulder lifts up off of the earth, it is because the right hip is pulling you too far away. So allow the hip to rock back and press the shoulder into the earth. On your next inhale, very gently straighten your right leg and notice how that involuntarily creates a pull into the earth, so you return to center. Give yourself a little shimmy and a shift. Keep the right leg straight with the toes pointed up to the sky. Float the left knee into a tabletop position and maybe use your blanket and place it on the right side to prevent you from going too far. And as you exhale, leading with the shin bone, gently roll over to the right. Notice the space created through the left side of the body and try to close it down by shifting the hips and reaching through the left hand. Allow the body to be heavy. One more deep inhale from hip to armpit and softening sigh. Gently begin to straighten the left leg and allow that to passively roll you back to center. Give yourself a little wiggle, a little shake. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Take a deep breath in. And let something go. Very gently roll over to your preferred side and pause there for a moment. And leave the head heavy as you push your hands into the floor and come up to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands folded in towards your heart center and bow your chin in towards your chest. And take a moment to reflect on today's practice. And I leave you with a sweet reminder that everything that has happened is enough. You are enough. Thank you so much for watching. From my heart to yours, namaste.